You're now listening to the Basic and Boujie podcast. And we're live.
And we have guests. So before we get into all the shenanigans, please remember to rate, review, like, and subscribe. Please subscribe. This is the middle of August, and we have a goal to reach 100 subscribers by the end of August, and we're at 83 now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so close.
So go ahead. So close. I know y'all have YouTube channels. Subscribe on your kids' YouTube channels. Figure it out.
Hit that notification bell too.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, we're classy today.
Yes, we're gonna
Drinking
remember
some white wine. We're gonna cheers to a good show with these fabulous ladies. Clink, clink, clink. Cheers. Ooh, to a good show. All right, now the fun begins.
Without further ado, we have members of the Estrogen Mafia.
Woo!
Let's
Go ahead.
do it.
I love that name.
Yes. So we've really adapted to it.
Yes.
So Cindy and Toddy, you can
Hello.
introduce yourselves.
I don't know where to look.
I'm like, I'm listening. Sometimes I'm cross-eyed, so you can look there, you can look at us, you can look wherever, because like you guys sometimes listen and don't watch, so you can look wherever. Everybody doesn't watch.
Yeah. So we just do that first. We're the viewers.
We're the viewers. We just like to watch
I need to
ourselves.
look at this. We're view 1 and 2.
That's
every
right
week.
there every week.
But so, thank you for coming
Yes,
to be on
thank
the
you
show.
for coming.
Thank
We
you
really
for inviting
appreciate
us.
We are very excited to have you, and I think one of the things that we wanted to talk about, besides shenanigans of when we all used to work together and hang out together and be like basically 24 hours a day, we were together for years.
Yes.
We got to know each other at a nonprofit that was male dominated or male oriented, and we obviously are women, and so it was very interesting, and I know we all have a lot of stories, all good, some bad, some interesting learning experiences, but I kind of wanted to bring you guys on to talk about that time in our lives where we were kind of full into it. So without putting any words in anyone's mouth, I just wanted to have some time and talk to you guys.
Great. So we all kind of got together in our mid-20s, so
Yes.
still early in our professional careers when we were learning how to work, how to live, how to balance everything.
Babies.
Yes. And Joss was from the area, but a bunch of us were new to the area. So you needed to find those friends, and then working in such a male-dominated organization, you needed to see who were your women allies. And there wasn't a lot of women leadership. And so we just found each other and learned together and relied on each other and went from there. So that's a good snapshot of where we are, where we were in our lives and professionally, and why our shenanigans carried on from the office to after office hours, because we became each other's best friends as well.
Yeah, we did. I mean, yeah.
You guys really leaned on each other.
So I can't remember. I know I moved to Philly for that job. Did you move to Philly for that job?
I did, from New York City, and you were
From
not that far
New York
away.
City
Yeah.
too, sort of, from Westchester County.
And then we had another, the fourth person came from like a suburb farther out than Philly, like more like the Lancaster area. So Joss definitely showed us the way as far as here's Philadelphia.
I took you to the dive bars. Yeah.
I wasn't scared. Whatever they say, I wasn't scared, okay?
Whatever that. Don't listen to those
Don't
rumors.
listen to that episode.
In that episode, I was named in. Just focus
By
on
that woman.
the cheerful
Woman.
part, not the other stuff.
No, we had good times. We went on trips. We took a trip to Miami. So
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, we did take a trip to Miami.
I didn't go to Miami.
Did you know that they went to Miami?
I went to Puerto Rico, so I think the trips revolve around Joss.
Yes.
Okay.
And who can go with her at
The
that
star.
moment?
Yes.
The star, seriously.
So Cindy went with my family to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was a fun experience.
That's fun.
And so that little cousin turned like 18 or 19
Oh my
recently.
gosh, he was just a little kid.
full-grown man. And then Toddy went to Miami with me when Damaris used to live in Miami. So we went
I know
down
y'all
to
had
Miami.
fun.
Yeah,
Like,
we had
I
a
know
lot
y'all
of
had fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just showing somebody her pink and white car from Miami.
Oh, yeah.
When she like souped up her ride and she was like in a little Barbie car. I love that car.
Fast and Furious car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pink and white when we went.
It probably was.
It
I
was
just
literally
remember
like a Barbie
we were
car.
driving somewhere and I was looking at her gas gauge and it was on E. And it was like, it's only 25 more minutes. And the whole ride I was like,
Well, then we're gonna make it.
please don't leave us on the side of the road.
It's
She was
hot.
not concerned at all.
It's hot.
But I was sitting
One of those like, I know my car. I got 15 miles.
My God, I hope she knows her car.
Right, like, because I don't, and now I'm nervous.
Yes, yes. I don't know why that
That's
part
so
sticks out to
funny.
me, but that and I think we had Cap Margaritas somewhere.
The
But
whole trip to Miami and the gas gauge.
Like, that's
So,
just
the thing is,
out.
it makes me sweat. I was staring at my own gas gauge trying to get here. Like,
The most emotional moment of the trip.
So, I know you guys said it was a male dominated nonprofit company. So were the majority of your supervisors and managers males?
All
yes,
of them.
All of them.
except for one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
except for one.
direct supervisor was a woman.
Okay. How I don't think I've ever had a male, like actual manager or supervisor, like maybe like a charge nurse here and there, but I'm like, how is that like a man in management? I always see women in management.
Wow.
I think we were lucky. Like, I don't think we have any necessarily horror stories given our direct manager or director at that time. And then his director. I think we had some really great mentorship from
Okay.
him and from Toddy's
Yeah.
director. I think they were. I can't speak to other councils that were doing the same,
Right.
that were in the same industry as we were, but I think we were very lucky to have the people that we had in charge of us shaping us at a very early, right in your 20s,
Right.
like you're still learning who you
Prime
are, what you
time.
want to do. And I think we had a very great group of people that were professionals a couple months into a couple years in and were helping us to develop our skills in those
Your own
areas.
leadership skills, yeah,
Especially,
okay.
I had no experience in that industry coming into that role. I just knew I needed a full-time job and this nonprofit
Right.
was ready to hire me and I was like, let's do
And it's
it.
in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, but I'm gonna make
But
it right.
right.
So I don't know. I think Cindy had some experience growing up, and I'm not sure about Toddy.
None
but
at all.
it was easy to learn because those people were very
You had good
invested in
management.
us.
Yeah. They cared.
Yeah.
And they were very invested in us
Yes.
bonding together.
And that's rare.
Yeah, because they kind of knew in that organization, you have to rely on the people you're working with a lot.
Okay.
And it can feel like nobody understands what you do except those
Except
people.
for those people. I
And
get it.
how much help you need and how busy it gets and the things that are super frustrating. And so I think they were very invested in us bonding. And then the person who hired us was also very much looking to create a certain culture in the office with every hire. So it wasn't just, can this person get the job done? It's like, is this person going to be positive? Are they going to work hard?
Are they going to work well
Are they-
together as a
right.
unit?
Are they going to be an actual good person? I think that they really focused on hiring people who were actually good.
Good people.
Not good at their
Right.
job. Well, yes, that too. But
Hopefully trainable,
right.
Right.
quality human beings.
Moldable,
Exactly.
but really good, ethical, fun people.
It was more than just like, oh, the resume is good, you got the degrees, here's the job.
Right.
It was a lot about personality as well,
Yes.
and your own morals and your own ethics.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's how you build a good team.
Yep.
Like, that's why you guys were able to gravitate together. If they would have just picked a bunch of random people, you probably would have all hated each other. But you all have a good heart, you all have the strong work ethic, and you relied on each other, and it worked well.
Yeah, I mean, what, 10, 11 years? I left 11 years ago. But
From our team.
From that team. We're all still, Joey called me the other day, you know, like we all talk to each other, we see each other.
Like I say, spend so much time. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, when you're in a job like that nobody else understands. If you called me to vent, I'm like, girl, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When I call my
they
friends
would
to vent, they're just
understand.
like, why haven't you left yet? Why haven't you quit
Right.
yet? I'm like, you don't understand.
You don't understand. You don't get it. Like, when I finished the shift at work, and most everybody knows now I'm a nurse, I would call a nursing friend because only they would understand, like, why are you just giving a report after this time? Girl, let me tell you. We're about to tell somebody else. They're like, well, what's a report? And what do you mean? And why couldn't you leave? I'm like, never mind, you can't, you're not even understanding what I'm talking about right
Yeah.
now. It's like another language. It's like, forget it. Now I'm frustrated. I now don't want to talk anymore.
And we worked with so many volunteers. So each of us was in charge of a whole world that had nothing to do with each other. So we
Okay.
each had our own sort of things to do and hundreds of volunteers to work with.
That's a lot.
Yes, and that was, so not for profit. So the regular things you think about, fundraising and membership and programs and everything that goes into that. And so you want to learn how it's going in the neighborhood next door from your coworkers, but also they're going to be the only ones who relate, especially when the volunteers were all men, almost
wow.
all men, and then the programs were mostly for young men.
Okay.
So yes, strong co-ed programs, but that was a smaller percentage of what we did. And so not only did you have to prove yourself in this male-oriented business, because not-for-profits are a business, it was also having to prove yourself to this whole group of people who loved this program, that you needed to fit in with them and
Right.
prove yourself in some way.
No, yeah, I understand that.
So it was in all areas like that. But what our boss did when he was hiring, just on that point, was everyone had different skills too, and they knew that, and we were finding that out about each other. So then we could rely on each other in different ways.
Right, like, this is why you want to go to Cindy, because she knows this.
Yeah.
This is
So we would learn that, but they learned that in the interviews. They
Right.
found the pieces they were looking for.
like, whoever they're hiring, like, team, they're really, like, brilliant, like, just because they really thought about every step of the way, like, all right, well, how is this gonna work, and if you do this, how, like, they put a lot of time into the hiring process, and you never hear about that anymore.
No.
It's just
You're
like,
checking
oh, you
boxes.
graduated,
Yes,
boom,
yep.
done.
Yep.
And how it differs is the need and the notion and the understanding that you need strong women on this team for it to be successful. And that's what they sought out. And that was amazing, and that was not the model in other places either. We would go work with other not-for-profits in similar areas, and they would be like, whoa, look at all the ladies.
Like, where'd you guys come from?
Yeah,
They gave y'all a job?
They were very excited to see us.
For the wrong reasons.
For the
sometimes.
wrong reasons. Put your money away, sir.
Yeah.
Well, it was less like that and more like, okay, you've had 3 beers, I'm gonna go over it there now.
Right, exactly. Like,
Yeah,
do
and
you feel like you had to be on guard in those situations?
There were some.
Yeah.
Social
I feel like there's definitely
work
some cringe
situations,
words.
yes.
Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
And it was very much a work hard, play hard.
Okay.
Not every night, though in my early 20s,
Back then.
a couple more nights than usual. But it was, so you were out and about, and that
Y'all
was
had
very
fun, y'all
much
had
part
fun.
of the culture.
Okay.
We used to have these meetings on Fridays. Oh my gosh, it started at 7:30 or 8.
7:30.
7:30
Oh,
a.m.
really?
Friday,
I woke
and
up that time.
lasted until 5
PM.
It could last that
It's-
long.
How about what?
PM.
How we're gonna take over the world.
Yeah.
Every week.
membership,
a week.
fundraising,
Camping.
everything
Oh
in
my
between.
God.
It was
Yep.
it was tough because you couldn't. You're like, here's all the things that I could be doing to make this happen while
Right.
I'm here. Yeah. So yeah. But then you would need to just relax after that and get down to the real business of, hey, how are we going to go do this?
Right.
Yes.
And so the work part would lead to the
Immediately.
professional brainstorming over drinks, which would lead to then we're cutting that off and we're just friends now.
Right. The drinking has begun.
Lots of sleepovers because you were being safe.
Exactly.
Yes.
Impromptu sleepovers.
Yeah.
And there was no drinking and driving.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there were plenty of times when I would have gone out the night before with Joey. God had to get up, shower, like get up, leave his house, go to my house, shower, change, go to work, see him at the meeting at 7:30 in the morning. Both of us looking at each other like, oh shit.
Should have cut out early.
Nobody said, this is not a good idea.
In your 20s, you are invincible.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
if we try to do
Like
that
hangover,
now,
what do you mean?
if we try to do that now, forget it. But
Be
as-
sitting in the meeting having the sweats like, Kenny,
I just need some
switch
water.
to water. Switch to water.
no, you're still drinking vodka because you might as well just keep going. Everyone thinks it's water.
Yep.
It depends how long is that meeting. Yes.
Exactly.
There was this one night, Joss was with her friends or maybe her cousins in Atlantic City, and we had this new guy join the team, and Joss was like, "You want to come to Atlantic City for a little while and then go home because I had to work the next day." So I'm like, "Yeah," and then I brought Mark with me because he's the new guy. Come hang out with Josh. You haven't met her yet. And we just ended up staying there way too late. We come home. There's a lot of meetings, but we had a meeting the next morning, and we had I'm pretty sure he was wearing because they always give us men's. Oh my God, can we talk about the men's
They
clothing
give you
they gave us?
unisex everything
So
or men's
I had to
everything.
give him a men's
Men's.
polo shirt
Men's.
to wear
Like
to the meeting.
box cut clothing,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Oh,
But
they're
since-
still terrible.
yes.
They're
Oh my
still
God.
terrible.
Since we didn't sleep, he had to wear some of my men's organization clothing to the meeting. But yeah, if you're going to hire women, please, or if women will be at an event, please offer women sizes, especially if you're going to require them to wear these outfits at professional events.
Right. Because
A lot.
it's going to come out looking sloppy.
You can't just hand somebody a men's large and think that that's going to
You'll be
work.
fine. Just tuck it in.
I can't tie it on the side
Right.
and make it more feminine. I can't do any of that.
Right. But
Yeah.
then the argument is always that this organization has a couple of different outfits, I'll call them, that
Uniform.
you have to
Well,
wear.
yeah,
They're iconic.
Sorry.
And you have to wear them, and they look terrible on women. It just
Ah.
universally,
Just
doesn't
like-
matter your size. Like, unless as a woman, your body type is that of a young boy.
Like athletic, straight up and down, no hips, no curves.
Right. Which maybe I shouldn't say that's a boy's body type, but unless you are like very, very
Just straight.
short,
No curves.
no curves, straight up and down,
It's the only way it's going to work.
then it looks kind of not bad.
This is the best you could get.
But if you have anything else, you just feel
Yeah.
so uncomfortable. It doesn't quite fit. It doesn't quite
not
button.
you.
It's tight
You
in
can't
all
be
the
your
wrong places.
best. And
Yeah.
you're at work. You want to
You know,
rock it.
You don't
But
feel
then-
like yourself.
But then when you kind of talk about that, they're like, well, it's not supposed to be like attractive. It's just supposed to be.
No, we know that.
There's,
So, like-
there's a happy
So
medium.
it is
Yeah.
not
It,
attractive.
it doesn't have to be skin
It's like-
tight, but it also doesn't have to be a trash bag.
But,
Right.
If
but
it
no
fit-
man has ever been handed an outfit to wear for work and had that problem.
Right.
Or been told they need to wear beige khakis. What woman
Yes.
wants beige khakis on these hips?
Right.
Like,
Nobody.
Though I found the perfect pair of khaki pants. Yes.
is it like the Gap or something?
I think got them from Express.
Really?
They're high waisted.
Everybody in this industry needs
Anything
to know
high-waisted
about
on
this.
this.
They're high
Because your ex to wear khaki a lot.
pleated, but like wide leg. They sound terrible, but I promise
they
you, I
sound
put
cute.
them on and
You
I'm
should
like,
tell me
High
about
waisted.
them.
You
Right, I'm
had
like,
me at
you
that.
won.
Yeah, whatever it
I'll
is.
have to
That
send them
sounds
to you. I bought a pair of them on. I'm like, maybe this looks good, and I put them on, and I was like,
Oh, these are it. You gotta buy another pair.
It took 20 years in this industry for her to find these pants.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
That's hard.
They just invented them. High-waisted pants just became a thing. Any other time I would have bought them, they would have been horrible.
20 years ago when y'all started, they probably have ultra low rise because that was
Yes.
the trend then.
Oh my gosh. And then you would
and
get,
bell bottom. And
then
bell
you
bottom.
weren't allowed to, you'd go to work. Some of the women who we'd try to coach who joined, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I hit the microphone. The ladies who would join after us, and you tried to coach and guide them, oh hey, in 2 days we need to wear this outfit that you may or may not have in your closet, and then they come in something, and it is that low rise or whatever, and then you're the one who's this is a problem when you don't have a lot of women leaders. And Tati's boss was amazing, but she didn't get to participate with us in a lot of things, and so we were called upon to tell other women when they looked inappropriate, when they acted inappropriate, when they just crossed different professional lines.
Because they are terrified
Yes.
to tell a woman anything.
And then
I can imagine. I'm and that was then. Now I've been probably
You
put
can't
your
say
sunglasses
anything.
on. Now it's probably 10 times
so
worse.
that's not an easy thing to do. Then all of a sudden you're you're not going to make friends that way, or be
Right.
able to mentor somebody if you're very early on. Somebody above you is telling you to
Your clothes are
set them on the right
inappropriate,
way.
yeah.
It's so that was always really tricky for me to navigate. I feel like.
Okay.
Well, because it's if you were brought in at the beginning and you could have that conversation with them about, hey, here's some things you need, here's some things that are work appropriate, on your first day.
Before they wear the clothes that
Right.
you have to talk
Before.
to them about.
Right.
And then it can be a very because I've had to do that recently, and so it was yes, dresses are fine. No, you don't need to wear full face makeup to work every day or anything like that. That's not the culture. But it used to be things like pantyhose. You had to wear pantyhose, or you can't wear spaghetti strap tops. Stuff that is appropriate in a lot of other workplaces,
Right.
but
Not
this
in
one
that-
is very conservative, for lack of a better term.
And that would
so,
make sense for them to bring you in at
you
the
know,
beginning,
yes.
so then you don't have to have that conversation oh, the low rises are inappropriate.
No open-toed shoes, no skirts, no mini skirts, but really probably should be about knee length, just to make everyone comfortable.
You can't wear
no
to church, don't wear it.
cleavage.
Yes.
Right.
It's pretty much like the
All
rule
these
of thumb.
all these kinds of rules that some were written, some were unwritten, some
So
were
this show would be inappropriate.
Highly.
yes.
I would be asked to talk to you about that.
So let's role play.
Oh gosh, no! It was the most horrible moments
happen.
of my career.
If you both had to say, "Hey, Melanie, this shirt is inappropriate," how would you do it?
It's a very real thing that you have to do it
No, yeah.
when you're a supervisor or a manager or I think someone else should role play so I can learn how to do this better. I need to really observe and learn more about this. I told someone that he needed to shave his beard once because that's what my boss indicated, and then he came back in a gentle way. I thought that they're just expecting us all. This is a weird thing to say. Us all to be clean shaven. And I'm
I shaved this morning.
right. And then he came back a few hours later and said, "Oh, I talked to your boss, and they said it's okay." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what is happening here? You just told me you needed
So you just went over my
him to
head.
look differently."
And then my
then-
boss said something
So
different
then
to me
why
and something
did-
different to you.
Right.
And now I
That's
know,
great.
that was early on. Don't tell somebody to shave their beard. What's wrong with you? But it was mixed messages, and I was trying to understand how to go about doing that. So yeah. who's going to
Someone of you tell me that this shirt is inappropriate.
I've never had to tell
You know?
anyone that, so I don't even know.
I'll try.
All right. You wanted to see me?
Yeah, hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
How's your day been going?
Good.
Oh, no, it's such a busy season. Do you have any meetings today?
No, I'm good.
No meetings today?
No, I think this is it. After I talk to you, I'm good to go.
Oh, okay, great. Just a little tip. Here, this office is super conservative. I have to wear a sweater over my tank tops and stuff. Even in the
summer.
sun. I know it's so hot outside, but I still have to wear a sweater because that's just the way it is, and that's
That
the way
sucks
they like
that you
it.
have to wear a sweater.
It is. However, that's the office dress code. So in the handbook, it kind of just says more about clothing that covers kind of all of your parts.
Okay.
And go, girl, I love it. And I'm not going to ask you where you got that bra later because it's very supportive. You got to wear something a little higher cut.
I got you. And I'm going to read that handbook because I didn't read it.
All right. Well, good. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. You do anything fun.
Thank you. Good job. Women in management. How you do it?
Did I get it? Did
You got it.
feel inappropriate?
That was amazing. And
I
we-
felt comfortable. I felt like, okay, you like my style, but I also understand that this is inappropriate for work. I was like, oh, you gotta wear this sweater? That sucks. No, we in our
have to
handbook,
wear-
in our culture.
let me bring it back.
Right, let me bring it back to you.
I'm not just telling you something that's coming out of left field because I feel like you gotta wear it. It's in the handbook. So
Right.
just so you know, girl, just tomorrow,
I
just,
got you.
Bring it.
I
And
got
then,
you.
or you know what I like to do? I like to throw a little camisole under it. Yeah, that looks cute too.
There you go.
And then tell me
you.
where you got that bra.
It's
I
yes.
like that might sound funny, but I like that you say that because then
Right.
it doesn't seem like you're judging the other person.
Exactly.
So I like what you have on, but because we work here,
It doesn't come off judgmental or like high and mighty. It's just like we got the job. We have to do what
This
we need
is
to
what
do.
your job is.
But if we go out on Friday night, you can absolutely wear that. Let's go.
You're like, hey, girl, you look good.
Right.
That was great. I pressed the applause
Good job.
button.
Thank you very
Good
much.
job. Good job.
That was amazing. Thank you all for this example we can call upon
There you
in
go.
the future.
This might help someone.
it's another educational episode.
See? Go
Now,
on.
see, at other workplaces, you might not want to say the thing about the bra, but
Right.
you gotta feel that out.
Men
Feel that
do not
out.
compliment
Do
the
not,
bra,
do
men.
not, do not. I was going into this as we have a working relationship
Right.
already. And also it's like, well, I can see your bra, so it's just what it is.
And this is how not to dress at work.
I mean, it depends on where you're working.
Right.
Well, yeah, right.
I'm working right now. It's my work shirt.
There you go. It's work appropriate.
My work shirt. I had to create my own job to dress like this.
I might have to try that.
And that's in the handbook.
And that's in the handbook. Come as you are.
The handbook is just, I do what I want.
Right. That and welcome aboard.
Doesn't need any edits. So I think another thing that helped us to bond a lot was that it wasn't your typical 9 to 5. You're not clocking in, sitting at your desk all day, going to lunch with someone, a couple people, and then clocking out at 5 o'clock, and you left work at work. Because we deal with volunteers, or because we dealt with volunteers, they have their 9 to 5 typically. So you
Yeah.
have to meet on their schedule. The groups are meeting
Oh,
on
I
a
see what
different
you're saying.
schedule.
Okay.
So our typical day didn't start at 9 and end at 5. It could start at 9 and end at 9. It could start at 5 and end at,
Because you might not get them until they get off of work.
Right.
Now you,
Right.
So then any meetings that needed volunteer participation would have to be after your typical business hours.
After
So-
hours, yeah.
And then after that, you may need to, those are the kind of meetings that you may need to meet with your colleagues to talk about that, to see how that went and to talk more. So then, yes, that would have been over some drinks at the local, whichever office we were meeting at. But
Not in the office. Leave
Not
the
in
office,
the
guys.
office.
No, never drink in the office.
in the office.
Unless it was the Christmas party.
Christmas party.
Those are epic too.
Work Christmas parties. I think no matter where you
Oh,
work,
goodness.
work Christmas party or just holiday parties, everybody's true colors come out. Everybody gets relaxed and gets loose. and
Yeah.
Well, we
it's
were the
fun.
party planning committee.
We were.
But of course.
Incredible.
We had themes.
I don't know if we could tell these stories.
We never mentioned the organization, so we could say whatever we
Oh
want.
shoot! Do you remember the one where we had the rooms? Do you remember the one we had the rooms? We had the game room.
Yes.
We did have
We had a video game room.
That sounds
we
like so
had
much fun.
not a pool table. We had a ping pong table.
And then we had
And-
karaoke in another place.
Yep,
Is that the same
yeah,
year?
karaoke.
And then the quiet room if you wanted to just chill and sip your wine.
Oh, it was so.
That sounds like
We had a
fun.
keg.
I think that's why the Office Christmas Party movie was so successful because everyone could find something in it that they connected with or
Relatable.
wanted
Yeah.
to connect with.
Like, you know what? The next holiday party, I'm gonna do that.
But I think what Joss was saying about meeting after hours and stuff is really important if you're going into any not-for-profit industry, just because you're working for some cause that has volunteers and donors that are doing their own job.
Right.
And this is fun and their passion project, or their life's work outside of their job.
Outside of their normal business hours.
Yeah, so you're always going to encounter this like evening or weekend thing. And that's important to know going into it. It's also very rewarding. But you just got to know that lifestyle, that you're committed to.
Your day's not going to end when everybody else's day ends.
No, but it also means, so for the world of women, and I've got 2 little ones, or for the world of moms, it also means that you could go to whatever's going on at school that day, a random production, like come to school at 3 p.m. and see this. Like who can do that?
Right.
Or your kid gets sick and you need to go to a doctor's appointment, or dentist appointments, well visits. There's a list of things that are regularly scheduled during business hours when business women and men and dads and moms are working. So if anybody in your family in a leadership role in your families, I'm sorry, like mom and dad, I'm like a leadership role in your family. If any guardians have a job that's flexible like that, you can be an even better parent sometimes.
You don't have to use an 8-hour vacation day to go to that 1-hour appointment in the morning.
Right.
Correct.
Or split up these PTO days.
Right.
Like, it's just so
Like you gave me
different.
5 vacation days and I had to use 3 of them because my kid got sick. They don't give you kid sick days.
Yes.
That should be a thing.
That should be a
That
thing.
should be a thing. Like if your kid
You got
gets sick, that
paternal
should be a
leave.
different bank.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not just maternity leave
Right.
anymore. No. So
It's a wonderful thing for companies to offer paternity leave.
Right.
It just makes my heart so happy with what's happening in the world.
And yeah, it's finally the realization that like, hey, fathers do need to be involved.
Absolutely. Because it's just
Like,
like, all right, you had the baby. Fine, I'm going to
Right.
work.
But they are involved now.
Yes.
Like, it's not like 50 years ago.
There are so at an organization that I've worked at, and I won't say if I still work there or not, there was one guy whose wife had a baby, and he went to take his leave, and the comment was made, well, you didn't have the baby. It's like,
But he has a child now.
Your
an
whole
infant.
life is changed.
Right.
You have to figure out how to live that life so you can come back and
So
do
in
your
other
job
words, it's just on your woman. She got to
That's
figure
it.
it out, and you
But
just
that's-
and
bring
then
home
she
the
needs to
bacon.
figure it out after 3 months too.
but that
no.
all goes into how
Ooh, that just irritated
ingrained
me.
in the culture.
Right, that's such an
was.
old school mentality of, well, your wife is probably a stay-at-home mom anyway, raising the family, and you're the breadwinner.
Which
Well,
is
no, we both
not
are
true.
working, so we both gonna take care of this baby. We both need time off.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
And that's what we are a little obsessed with our former boss, just because what an amazing example to start your careers with, like
Right.
your early professional years with, so that you could go out and try to be that person for others, and that you could see what it looks like and what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
But he knew that having women on the team would lead to those conversations about what employees need, not just a traditional male setting professional. So not only what a woman might need, but what do the men need that our
Right.
organization isn't seeing that we should consider. So that he's brilliant. She's brilliant.
And I think before DE&I became the buzzword, the thing to be obsessed about, diversity, equity, and inclusion, before that became something that the corporate culture was leaning into, we were already
You
experiencing
guys were living it. Like, you were living it.
And our boss hired us with that in mind as well, right? So me and Toddy being women of color, among some of the other staff, we were the women of color on that
Right.
staff. So it was showing that just because this organization was traditional in these ways doesn't mean that these people that look this way could not come and make an impact.
Right.
And I think our boss at the time knew that before it became like,
It's like ahead of its time.
right,
Right.
right.
Well, if I think that they were very clear about, we are trying to serve everyone. Why wouldn't we hire everyone?
Right.
Yes.
Like, it's a simple concept, and they just actually followed it.
Yes.
Like, that's it.
We are not only trying to serve the same people who have always been traditionally beneficiaries of this program. We want everyone to get the benefits of this program. So why wouldn't we hire all different kinds of people so we understand why aren't all these different kinds of people in it already?
And
That's
that's the
people
other,
that look like you.
Yeah. But that's the other part of the corporate mindset that a not-for-profit has to take on. So corporations are seeing the benefit of hiring everybody and knowing the value because you want everybody to be your consumer. So you need to be able to think like everybody.
Right.
And so nonprofits, even if they serve particular audiences, need to do that same thing if you're going to be successful.
Right.
Like,
I know. It seems so simple, and I feel like they, like you said, you want to serve everyone, so we have people that look like everyone.
yeah.
But then there's companies like, yes, we were talking about that earlier about companies and their mission statement and their values and blah blah blah. Your employees don't care what your mission statement is. It's like, we don't care.
Right.
I don't want to sit in orientation for a week about your mission statement. I just want to know when I get paid, what my benefits are, how do I contact payroll, how do I contact HR, what I need. I don't want to sit in orientation for a week. It's just like, that's just simple. But then you have companies that are like, yes, diversity, this, and this. And then you walk in and you're like, you're full of shit.
You're like, somebody tell me what it's really
Right.
like.
Yeah, your
Like-
board doesn't look like the people you serve.
Right.
Your upper level
At
management
all.
doesn't look like the people you serve. So
Like you have the pictures of all your teams, and everybody looks alike, but you're screaming diversity. Those two things don't make sense.
Right.
I'd rather you do it than just preach about it.
yeah, or don't talk about
Or
it. if
don't
you're
talk
not-
about it at all.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna get, a grant because you're now saying like you have diversity? Like, it's a money's game.
Right.
Yeah, please don't talk
Can
about
be.
it if you're not going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all. Just leave it alone. Leave it where it's at.
Well, and also it's funny sitting in those rooms when you're part of the minority group, whether that be you're the only woman, or you're the only woman of color, or you're the only person of color, and listening to everybody talk about what people who look like you want,
What your community
Yes.
wants. You're like,
or asking why we just don't understand why such and such and such and such isn't happening, or why they don't want to do this, and you're just like, I guess I'm up to bat.
I guess
now.
this is for me.
Okay.
This is where's my
Guess
cue.
that question is for me. Here it is.
Right.
I remember us being in a meeting where we were told by someone who didn't look like me, tell me what
you're gonna
my
say.
people.
You can't even say what the program was, but it was so offensive.
Yeah, we were told what my people gravitate to.
Oh,
So
dude,
let's
please
say that
It's giving me a headache just thinking about it.
Going
I
back
to get them involved.
I
can
forgot
see
about
us.
that
Yeah.
because I'm sorry that I forgot about it. But if I get really, really angry, I try to block out that moment because I'll come back to it, you know?
Now you're mad all over again.
I was never so angry after a meeting. I came out of there and I was offended.
Like, who are you?
Well, we're sitting in this big, like, it wasn't a conference room. It was like a little mini auditorium. So I remember the chairs were like,
like stacked up.
yeah,
Yeah.
up levels, and we were in the back because we're cool. So
Right.
and they're at the bottom, you know, talking. They got a big PowerPoint up, and they're talking about, you know, what the Hispanic community needs and what they need to feel included and all of these things. And we're just sitting there like, you see the legs start to shake, our arms, and we're looking at each other like, you hearing this? You hear this? And we're just rocking back and forth. Literally, like, we are like
Kicking each other.
trying, like, and I'm sure at the bottom this guy is looking up at us and just seeing our faces, just being like,
He's like, look at them. They agree.
Yeah.
They agree.
They're passionate
They
about
are.
what I'm saying.
They hear me.
And we're like, you need to
We
finish
were.
your presentation. Wrap this shit
Wrap
up.
it up, because we're going to tell you what it really is.
can we walk out? Can we walk
Right.
out? Can
Yeah,
we
you
We
just-
do it together.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and we left there and we went straight to the bar.
of course.
We did.
What kind of bullshit?
And just were fuming.
Yeah.
We were.
That's an event. You had to get it out.
And
Because I'm sure they didn't ask anybody any questions when they were putting together that presentation of what you should be doing for your community.
Right. So what they took was, if you take a segmented group, so let's just say, for example, you're talking about the Hispanic population in Houston or Dallas or El Paso, huge Hispanic population. Yes, it worked there. Yes, 100%. What you're saying worked there.
Right.
That's southern states, Texas. You're coming up to the Northeast. You can't say that.
No.
That does not apply here to the type of population that you were referencing
Right.
down here. And even there, you're being stereotypical because you're talking about one group of people that likes one thing.
Right.
Not the same thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So very interesting.
I feel like that moment took y'all all back, and now we got to go to the bar.
I think that's where we went after.
Oh man.
But that was one example. That's someone who didn't get it.
Right.
Yeah.
That came to talk to us about how we need to get on board with this. Our group, our team didn't think that way, and we knew better.
Okay.
Because we were experiencing a ton of different
Right.
stuff because we were
You
living.
were living it. This is what you
Right.
do.
Yeah. So that was one example. That's not bad mouthing the nonprofit that we.
No, it's just like, well,
Yeah.
don't. Just because you did your research on it doesn't mean you know it.
Right.
Talk to somebody that lives it, and then I'm gonna put my research and my education against your actual background, and then we're gonna put something actually that's gonna be beneficial for everybody together.
Right.
Not just me and all my books and all my Google schmoogling that I did.
Yeah.
Or also just realizing that just because something worked one place doesn't mean it needs to be
Right.
translated out to the broader population.
Right.
Like if that worked in that community, well, do it in that community.
Right.
But sometimes things just need to stay there
There,
Yeah.
it worked
because
there.
that's what it was
Yeah.
made for. Tailor made for the needs of those people at that time. Not doesn't necessarily mean it worked.
or at least look at a sample size that is comparable to what area you're working in.
Right.
So they can
Or
like, let's work in this inner city.
right.
Let's trial this here.
Right.
Whatever.
Or make the program non-focused on necessarily race and make it about people who were interested in that thing.
Yeah, your
Right.
goal of the not-for-profit, the cause that this organization was formed
Right.
around, is very important to always come back to. And if you're going too far outside of that,
Yeah.
in order to recruit people,
It's a whole other organization.
Yeah.
it is.
Okay. Yeah, don't bring it to that and not
Yeah.
make it about
Yeah.
the actual type of
Right,
people.
because if all of the materials hadn't been like in Spanish and like all of the pictures of the kids are all Spanish, if it had just been, if you are working in a place where kids are interested in this other thing that we can use to get them interested in what we do, then here is what it is. I don't think we would have been as upset.
Because also I'm like, for the kids, it's like, if I see something, if I open as a child a pamphlet for something like, oh, these activities look fun, but none of these kids look like me, maybe this isn't for me.
Right.
Right.
But if I see something that's like, oh, look, all these different people, all these different activities, this might be something that I could do.
Right. Right.
Inclusivity. But you had some good times.
We did have
Good times.
And it molded you guys, because then like it seems like it was everybody's first like real manager, and you guys had a really good experience. So now when you go to another job, you're like, this some bullshit.
Yeah.
You're not a good manager, because I've experienced a good manager.
Come back next week for more stories from the Estrogen Mafia.